This has to be the easiest trading strategy for 2020. Right now we're seeing risk decline across all global markets for right now, right? And so there's a couple of different currency pairs that you guys need to be paying attention to. I spoke about this maybe about 2 or 3 days ago on the channel, so we're gonna hop right into it. Roll the intro. He's a pattern man, but he doesn't ignore the fundamentals.
Another episode of the Love and Hustle Show.
All right, guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It was maybe about 5 or 6 days ago I mentioned this video right here where I said basically, hey, these are the Forex correlations that everyone needs to be paying attention to. And as of right now, those are the strongest correlated currencies today. Okay, so we spoke about the Canadian dollar and oil correlation. We spoke about the safe haven assets, the dollar, the CHF, and the Japanese yen correlation. And there was one correlation that we missed out on, and I was like, oh, how did I forget that one? The New Zealand dollar and Australian dollar correlated back to China, and of course the New Zealand dollar and the Australian dollar are highly correlated in and of themselves. All right, so I want you guys to take a look at the charts here real quick. All right, so take a look. SPY, right, is shooting to the moon at the moment. Kyler did mention inside of the community, the Top Trader Academy, that, hey, you know, it seems as if there's going to be a massive pop on the SPY. Now, we did just take a massive sell on Tesla. So we shot this video where we said, hey, it looks like Tesla sells are in. And as you guys have noticed, there's been a lot of funds that came right back in and started buying that dip. And I was just talking with Kyler and I was mentioning to him, I don't think buying the dip is an opportunity right now. And yeah, he was like, yeah, you're right. It really seems like more of a mentality because sure, you can buy the dip on Tesla, but what are you really buying the dip for? Are you buying the dip because you see value? No, you're really buying the dip because you feel as if there are going to be opportunists that come in and try to drive that market higher just simply based off of the overall mentality, overall psychological really structure of the market right now. People are extremely bullish. You just had Jerome Powell come out, J Powell. He just came out and he mentioned nothing but positive, amazing things about the economy right now. Reflation is coming back in. There's so much happening. Coronavirus declining, so on and so forth. So that's quite interesting stuff. But yeah, I want to run the tape for you guys real quick on what I said a few days ago on the Canadian dollar opportunity. Take a look. So when a trader tells you, oh yeah, oil and the Canadian dollar, they're highly correlated, not all the time. Because again, right now you're seeing that this oil market is running to the upside. Meanwhile, this Canadian dollar is barely being able to break outside of this price range here. Now, are we keeping an eye on that? Yeah, because at the end of the day, there's a lagging effect. If you often see that oil markets are screeching to the upside, sometimes you might have some buy-side pressure here on this Canadian dollar, and that's something that we are looking for. Kyler specifically mentioned that there might be a pretty awesome opportunity there. So if we pull back over, check this out. You guys will notice that this Canadian dollar is absolutely running to the upside. The amazing thing is we're still inside of this price range, so there's obviously still a lot of opportunity. But you got to remember this is a daily, so of course you might get a little bit of chop for maybe a day or two before you get a real solid pop outside of that range. But look at the opportunity we see here. So it's going to be amazing to come back to this video or come back to this particular setup in a few days from now, maybe even a week from now, and see exactly where this Canadian dollar is. Remember, the most important thing to do, though, is to pair this up with a currency that you don't think is going to be successful. This is where our expertise lies, okay? We are professionals at economic divergence. All right? Our entire boot camp is built to help traders identify extremely strong currencies and matching those up with extremely weak currencies based on the fundamentals, so then that way you get your biggest price moves. That's why right now the Japanese yen is something that is just absolutely falling off of a cliff. Here's a quick snippet of what I mentioned about the CHF, the US dollar, and the Japanese yen just a few days ago and their correlations. If you ever open up your charts and you're looking at the US dollar, or you're looking at the Swiss franc, whatever, any of those safe haven currencies, as soon as you open up your charts, you want to analyze global risk. You want to think, honestly, okay, is risk right now in global markets, is there this underlying theme that's going to make people fearful? Because if so, okay, there's no reason why I should be buying the Swiss franc and then selling the US dollar. That's not going to be a good trade, okay? And that's where, again, not understanding correlations can hurt you massively. And so what do you guys think is happening right now? Japanese yen selling off massively. What's happening on the Swiss franc? Swiss franc, again, if my charts will load up, even larger sell-off. And then when you come and take a look at the US dollar, not as substantial of a sell-off, but we did make a lower low here today. So, of course, everything is holding true because the global economy is really paying attention to, again, risk on more market participants going to more emerging economies and really putting that capital to work. So, of course, you're getting liquidation on the US dollar, CHF, and the Japanese yen. So what would have been probably one of the best pairs to trade? That probably would have been that CAD JPY, right? If you take a look at the CAD JPY right now is just shooting to the upside massively. We're at the 83s. Now we're sitting at somewhere around the 84 highs, okay? So a pretty dramatic price jump. And we believe that in the long term, all right, now we don't know what's going to happen, you know, intraday. Like, we speak on a lot of different setups that, you know, are pretty quick inside of the community, but we don't like to talk about those on the YouTube, because the second I come out with a video and I say, hey guys, you know, this is what we're looking at, it's a quick opportunity, there are going to be people that maybe watch this video weeks from now and it's going to be gone, right? So, you know, again, for the long term, we do think that this inflation trade, reflation trade is going to continue. We'll probably continue to see declining US dollar, declining Swiss franc, and then declining JPY. We just want you guys to pay attention to this stuff, because while you're sitting there, you know, staring at your technicals, you're missing out on the big picture of what's happening across the entire world. And that's really unfortunate, because you could be learning so much. A lot of times this isn't how markets are actually functioning. So markets are usually, you know, not so correlated. You don't really get a big edge. You don't really get a big chance to take advantage of a massive trade. That's not what we see happening right now. So if you have the correct tool set, mindset, strategy, and mentorship, you'll really understand how to take advantage of these type of opportunities. That's why we want to keep coming with you guys, coming to you guys with this type of information. Okay, so what else are you guys looking at? You know, again, the Canadian dollar, of course, we're seeing a pretty substantial push to the upside, still in its range. Okay, a lot of times we call out and talk about these positions before they even happen. Canadian dollar is one of them. It's still inside of that price range, and as we continue to see certain things happening, like there's actually a situation going on with Saudi Arabia and OPEC and Russia. They're having a little bit of a conflict right before this OPEC meeting that's very important, and we're seeing a push right now in the oil markets. I can pull over and show you guys our Brent crude. At the moment, it's pushing higher. We just had a high on Brent crude. Let's see, when's that high formed? 3 years. We can pull back out, man. I mean, we haven't seen prices of Brent crude at this price level since the early 2020, almost 2019. Okay, so we could continue to see a continuation there. That would exacerbate this Canadian dollar pushing outside of that range, which is something that needs to happen. It's been stuck in that range for such a long time, and we do feel like that is probably going to be one of the biggest opportunities for 2021. Okay, so if you guys are looking for a strategy to trade for 2021, you gotta, one, pay attention to the fundamentals. Okay, you have to, because if you're not paying attention to the fundamentals and you don't see generally what's happening and all the correlations that are happening. Two, you want to pay attention to safe haven plays, and these safe haven plays are basically liquidating the safe haven currencies. Again, this has been happening for a while, so I'm not saying you're late to the party. Just know that opportunities, they come and go. You just got to realize that this is an opportunistic business and things might change. Three is just really be prepared, right? Be prepared to know and understand what's happening from a fundamental perspective. Do your research every day, so that way you can stay up on this information, and boom, you'll be able to take advantage of this kind of stuff, right? So if you guys have any questions, let me know. We're going to continue to see what happens here on the Canadian dollar, Swiss franc, US dollar, and Japanese yen. These are pretty easy plays. You don't see anything like this. There is another trade setting up right now, Euro USD. We'll be talking about that one later on this week. Make sure you guys subscribe. If you have any questions, let us know. Comment down below. Like the video. For your boy. Peace out.